Yo, what's up guys, welcome to another Warcraft replay here. Normally I wait for the loading screen to actually pop up first, but I guess I was a little over eager. This is going to be from the Netease letter. This was recommended to me by Metaphysics from the comments, and yeah, let's get to it. Undead versus Orc once again. We are going to switch sides to align the colors, and we have EnTe spawning in as the red undead in the top right. I have casted EnTe before. I used to call him EnTe because I usually pronounce things assuming that they're Asian names. So, like, Asian, European have very different pronunciation on the namings, but yeah, EnTe is actually a German word, and I guess that's how you pronounce it. I apologize if it's incorrect, but I'll just be calling him that for now. I haven't casted EnTe in a while. Probably my last video was apparently 4 years ago, and that was a 2v2. So yeah, it's been a while. His opponent is going to be WhO. I have casted him once in the past before. That was from Netease ladder as well. So yeah, let's see how these two players do in a 1.31 realm. We are going to have a Farseer first for WhO, which is not something I would expect in this current patch. Blademaster seems to have returned to prominence after his reversion. I guess you could say it's a reversion, or it could just be a balancing issue or something like that, because he did get, although he did get his crit formula back, he did receive a nerf in the Windwalk in terms of the cooldown and stuff like that. So yeah, it's interesting to see the Farseer coming out here in this particular situation. I have not seen that many Farseers, to be honest, recently, so yeah, eyes open for that. We are having an extremely early tier 2 as well, so we are foregoing the barracks for WhO. Wanted to go for, most likely, I would assume Wind Riders, but I don't know entirely if that is going to be correct. But either way, Farseer coming out with Spirit Wolves. He will be facing off against the Death Knight, just standard for EnTe, as he goes for the Graveyard. Was it fairly average time, so this is going to be just the standard TID opening here. Whether or not he's going to go into tier 2 just yet, or wait for his first Crypt Fiend. Here comes the Farseer. He did resummon those wolves. I'm not sure where the first couple of wolves went. Maybe they went for they split on the gold mines to check whether or not EnTe was there, but either way, these wolves are just going to harass a little bit. Not really expecting them to kill any of these acolytes, especially with the Death Knight there. He most likely has his Death Coil as his first ability. First of the wolves are going to get killed by the Nerubian Tower, so that instant of experience will be lost there in the void. Okay, these peons are extremely loud for some reason, but War Mill completed. War Mill is a rather interesting first building. It kind of suggests, I don't actually remember if Wind Riders acquire War Mill or not, but it obviously isn't Troll Headhunters because the barrack is not even down yet, so I'm not sure what this War Mill actually suggests. I'm not sure if it's actually for the Spike Barricades or anything of that sort, since it seems like EnTe is also going to go into Crypt Fiends. No Mass Ghoul shenanigans here, so Spike Barricades is not really going to make that much sense. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure on that. Farseer out of experience, so is the Death Knight. The Death Knight also has just been keeping this Farseer in check. Spirit Wolves, unfortunately, aren't strong enough to reliably kill off an Acolyte or even a Ghoul, so yeah, they're just going to be used to long distance creep. I'm not even sure if they can even complete this creep camp entirely, as yeah, one of those Spirit Wolves actually expires. Death Coil, oh, very aggressive Death Coil there onto the Farseer. It seems like EnTe has just about enough of this Farseer shenanigans, as he just wants him off his lawn as soon as possible, it seems. Oh, that kill actually did go over to the Farseer. As you saw, the experience bar did move, and yes, I did actually spot that in time. Normally I tend to oversee those kind of things, but yeah. Really feels bad for the Death Knight. It seems like he didn't actually get the first null either, as the Death Knight is actually still 0 out of 200, which is really unfortunate for the undead player right now. Shadowhunter is popping out as the second hero for WhO, as he is going for 1 and 2 bestiaries. This does suggest to me that it is going to be Wind Riders, as we actually have the spike barricades. Not spike barricades, but the reinforced defenses for the Orc burrows. That will make them into fortified armor instead of heavy, and yep, there we go. The first bit of Wind Riders are going to be trained up. A little bit suspect, since you are versing an undead player who will generally produce those Crypt Fiends, but maybe he will just outnumber the amount of Crypt Fiends with those Wind Riders and just pray, I guess. Either way, first Crypt Fiend is being Hex focus fired, but thankfully with that Death Coil it will able to keep him healthy enough to live for now, I would say. Another Hex comes down, and with the Death Knight nowhere nearby, it seems like that is going to be an easy kill there for the Orc player, and it seems like Crypt Fiend number 2 might be the next target, but a very nice Nova Coil there to the unsuspecting Farseer will actually kill him at level 1, so a bit of an oopsie there from WhO, as he is desperately trying to get that second Crypt Fiend. Death Knight does not have enough mana for another Death Coil, so it seems like all he has to do is focus fire the Shadowhunter instead, and it seems like it will force the Shadowhunter to retreat, as yeah, he burns that speed scroll. He does not have access to the TP since the Farseer did die with it, so he will be forced to retreat for now. Swordhouse on the way, as well as webs being upgraded, so not well, actually he has a good number of Crypt Fiends, so it is going to be a bit difficult for you to actually get some sort of advantage here, because as soon as that auto wave is complete, those Wind Riders probably gonna melt. Death Knight, on the other hand, is taking quite a bit of damage from the amount of range damage that he is taking. Farseer has been revived, and he is going to plop down those Spirit Wolves. Troll Warlord is going to live for another day, as the Death Coil is going to top off the Lich. Nova is going to pop down on one of those Wind Riders, and that will give level 2 over to the DK. It seems like another Hex Focus Fire is coming down onto one of those Crypt Fiends, and that will be that. So trade 1 for 1. For now, as this Wind Rider is just going to get whipped again, and that is most likely going to be another dead Wind Rider. Troll Warlord Camp is going to go over to the Orc player, however, and the Farseer will pick up the Flute of Accuracy, so that is plus 10 attack for those ranged units. That is very nice. Death Coil is going to heal up the Lich once again. That is the last bit of mana, so EnTe needs to be a little careful keeping his units that far forward in front of those wolves as well. And we actually have a Chain Lightning coming down, so that is also the last bit of mana for the Farseer, but that was a good decision to finish off one of those Crypt Fiends. He might be able to pick up another one. Oh, no, he will be able to, but his heroes are a bit trapped. Oh, it seems like that surround wasn't entirely perfect for EnTe, so that is going to be the Shadowhunter retreating with the usage of that TP scroll. We did hear one of those Wind Riders actually getting taken down, however, so it looks to be a trade of all the Wind Riders for, I think, 2 Crypt Fiends. So whether or not that was worth it or not is,
we're under attack!
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I guess it's evened out. Despite losing all the Wind Riders, you do get a pretty powerful aura in terms of that flute.
Upgrade complete.
But yeah, it is kind of looking worrisome for WhO, because he's trying to mess up those Wind Riders to deal with just the annoying threats of being webbed up by those Crypt Fiends, but yeah, even trades might not be enough. He probably needs to find some other alternative way to deal with those Crypt Fiends. Maybe go half and half with Wind Riders and Raiders. Because yeah, I don't know if Wind Riders by themselves are going to be enough. Farseer also needs a couple more levels to make more powerful wolves. He does pick up a Devotion Aura item, the Lionhorn of the Stormwind, so that is
Research
pretty
complete.
okay, I guess. I'm not sure how useful it is on no armored units such as these Wind Riders, but I guess every little bit helps, and yeah, only time will tell whether or not that is going to actually have some impact. It looks like Lich is farming by himself, I think. Oh, never mind. Death Knight is going to come nearby and leech some experience off of this. So, yeah, both of the heroes will hit level 3 after this camp. And the Rock Golem is a very juicy item drop here. What is it going to be? Waiting, still waiting because of that High Priest that actually heals a Rock Golem. Item is going to be Scourge Bone Chime, so Vampiric Aura for the Undead is not entirely useful since, yeah, most of the units are going to be ranged units with those Crypt Fiends, Statues, and Destroyers, so I imagine that item is going to be quickly sold off. And there we go, nice quick change there for the Death Knight. Is going to pick up a Mana Pot, and yeah, I guess he's on a scouting mission now. Level 3 seems to be... Oh, actually no, he's just going to meet up with the Lich and farm more camps. Okay, ring plus 3 is not that great, but oh well. Pair of Vitality for the Shadow Hunter to make him a little bit tankier. And you can see there, those Wind Riders are absolutely demolishing that Rock Golem. Another Flute gets picked up. Will have to be sold off since auras don't stack, but at least you ensure that that particular item doesn't drop for your opponent, so it's kind of a win-win in the end, I guess. Expansion attempt on the right here, I did not actually spot this, but at least WhO did. EnTe is trying to build a couple of towers, but I'm not sure if that is going to be in time. Expansion attempt on the left side as well for WhO to try and match that one on the right. This camp, or actually no, this is a catching out here on EnTe right now. EnTe. God, I completely forgot how to pronounce it again. But either way, that is a massacre on those Crypt Fiends there. Population is evened up, however, so deceivingly it seems to be pretty even, and with the Farseer being focus fired, it seems like it was EnTe who actually won that out, which I'm very surprised about. Yeah, there we go. Flute did get sold. It seems like he didn't actually sell it in time for that fight, so he could have had probably a lot more units than before, but he will have to burn that TP scroll and he will have to rebuild or retrain those Wind Riders. If he's even going to stick with the Wind Riders, which it seems like he is. He is at Fortress Stick as well, so a lot more is opened up for him, but I guess if he's sticking with those Wind Riders, then that is going to be that. He does have a Pocket Great Hole to make another base if he needs to, which, I mean, you already bought it, you might as well place it down as well. Seems like the wolves just weren't enough to take down this expansion here. A lot of towers for EnTe, with 3 Spirit Towers. Not even Nerubian Towers, all Spirit Towers. Great Hole is popped down and will be completed very, very soon. Here comes EnTe with an attempt at attacking this. Is going to take a huge amount of damage onto that Lich, and a very, very nice Hex onto the Death Knight there will prevent him from tossing down that Death Coil, and the Lich will be the one to die there. And it seems like the Death Knight is next on the chopping block. He does have a TP Scroll, however, and it might need to burn it since the Shadow Hunter might go for another Hex. Speed Scroll is going to be burnt and trying to catch up with that Death Knight. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a TP Scroll burnt as soon as he gets out of that Hex. There we go. Statue, try to stay behind to apply some healings. Very nice statue there, but that does not mean the TP Scroll was saved, as yeah, I'm pretty sure the Shadow Hunter had another Hex in him, and that would have been extremely disastrous. That was a very clutch Hex onto the Death Knight there. Lich, you can see, I'm pretty sure the Death Knight was actually swinging his sword upwards to toss the Death Coil, but the well-timed Hex will prevent that from happening, which is extremely impressive on Netease, because this is a ladder game, of course. It's not a LAN latency, it's actually you know, your latency, how far you are from China, and since EnTe is from Germany, I'm pretty sure. I don't actually know where EnTe is currently located, but surely not as close as WhO. I believe this is the... oh no, wait. Oh, yet again another Warlock camp is gonna go down. Pins of Energy gets dropped for the Shadowhunter, which is nice, I guess. Definitely a Sobi Mask would be extremely good, but I guess you can't have everything. Big blob of red is moving about. Is sitting at 50 supply though, so if he actually engages with WhO, this might not look too good for EnTe. Especially since WhO is at 70 as well, and he has access to those dire wolves. Okay, let's see how this turns out. No destroyers in the air, note. So, actually no, the statues immediately turn into destroyers and try and eat up those dire wolves, but as you can see here, that the Wind Riders are absolutely melting the Crypt Fiends despite having the auto webs. There's just way too many Wyverns to actually deal with. Orbs of Annihilation are going to try and do enough splash damage, but it seems like it's just not enough. Farseer did hit level 5 as well, so those are indeed Shadow Wolves. Very, very tanky, very, very damage dealing as well. And yeah, nice Nova Coil onto the Shadowhunter. Sadly, just not enough. That is going to burn all the mana off the Shadowhunter, however, but at the same time, yeah, EnTe has lost almost everything. Only his heroes have survived. He is gonna have to burn that TP scroll. His Lich was almost out of the circle there on the TP scroll, so yeah, that would have been very unlucky if that happened. But yeah, extremely good for WhO, who not only still maintains a very strong supply lead, but he still has 2 of his bases just not interrupted at all. So EnTe, who only has 2 mining bases versus WhO, who has 3, that is extremely that's a big economic disadvantage there. Shadowhunter, oh yikes, as soon as he gets Taverner revived, actually he gets chased down by the Death Knight and the Lich. So yeah, that WhO needs to be a little bit more careful about. That is the Shadowhunter dying twice within a minute at level 5 as well, so it's not actually cheap. He is burning a lot of his savings just to revive that level 5 hero from the tavern twice, and he is suffering from low upkeep as well, so he needs to be careful about his gold. I'm not sure what EnTe is actually doing right now. He is going after the Shadowhunter once again, but that is looking to be in exchange for his own heroes. He is going to lose the Lich in return, but he at least takes down the Shadowhunter for a 3rd time. I am not actually sure if that was worth it, because he is the one behind right now. So yeah, just losing his units for an even trade might not actually be worthwhile. Shadowhunter, Shadow Wolf is going to try its best to body block, but it is going to expire very soon, and there we go. That is going to be the Death Knight running with about 200-ish health, so yeah, that is that. We are actually transitioning into double Crypt Gargoyles here, because it seemed like the Wind Riders just do way too much damage for those Crypt Fiends to deal with. Yes, auto web is a thing. I thought it would be a lot more impactful, because I thought destroyers would be able to bring the damage, but yeah, EnTe's usage of destroyers hasn't actually been that impressive, so that is kind of the reason why he is falling a bit behind. Is that another expansion we see from WhO? That is super greedy, but since he is so far ahead in terms of supply, I don't actually blame him for doing this. I mean, if this sticks, then it's just yet another base mining for yourself. This gold mine is being cleared out as well. I'm not sure if it's actually going to translate to yet another expansion, but the possibility is there. The item is going to be the Belt of Giant Strength, so a little bit more tankiness for the Farseer. He is also 15 experience points away from level 6. I'm not entirely sure if Earthquake is going to be an actual thing or not. I mean, it doesn't sound bad. I mean, most of these buildings are clumped up for a very devastating earthquake. But, yeah, will WhO actually win because he was sieging, or if he just won simple army fights? Scourge Bone Chimes gets picked up, I think. There we go. That is the last inventory slot, so WhO needs to sell very soon. But yeah, both his heroes are actually at level 5, so the creep experience is not entirely worth it at all, as you don't actually gain anything. But either way, EnTe, who actually picked up a Dark Ranger as his third hero, hoping to try and get something done. Orc number 1 is going to go down. That does not put WhO under supply, however, as he is still capped out at 100. But yeah, oh, there we go. Mass Gargoyles versus Mass Wind Riders. Who is going to win? Nice Frost Nova to do a lot of AoE damage as well, and Speed Scroll is going to be used to try and retreat as soon as that popped up. Yikes, definitely did not expect those Gargoyles to come out. They are at +1 armor upgrades, but with the sheer number of Gargoyles right now, I guess, despite being a little bit weaker in terms of DPS, just the huge number of Gargoyles is just overwhelming with those Wind Riders. Nice Nova Core right there, bringing down the Shadow Hunter down to half health. He does have the Invuln Potion if he needs it, as the Farseer is level 6 as well. Codabeast is going to fall. Nova Coil onto, it looks like half and half onto the Farseer and the Shadow Hunter there, but you can see, you could have heard that we did have a Bat Rider coming down to try and suicide against those Gargoyles, so I imagine that we're going to see a lot more Bat Riders if these heroes actually survive in time. Shadow Hunter is going to transfer his Invuln over to the Farseer, but that just makes the Shadow Hunter himself vulnerable, and the Farseer has not actually evacuated the area, so he is still going to get chased by these Gargoyles as well. And that is another Frost Nova able to kill off a level 6 hero, so oh, how the tables have turned. EnTe, despite being a couple bases down, the sudden shift in tech miraculously turns things around here, which I'm so shocked. A lot more Bad Riders are on the way. Obviously, WhO doesn't really need to worry about this expansion since he has a couple more hidden away, but yeah, if these Bat Riders don't actually do their jobs, then those bases will also equally be at risk. Okay, here we go. Maybe? Nope. I mean, Bat Riders surely can guarantee their landing because Gargoyles, in terms of anti-air, are melee, so you can't actually kill off a Bat Rider with those Gargoyles. You kind of have to Nova Coil them themselves. So here we go. There we go, the Bat Riders. A huge amount of splash damage. 2 more Bat Riders will be able to finish off the rest of the Gargoyles, and somehow, some way, the tables have turned yet again. All the Gargoyles have been wiped out. They are going to go focus firing on that Death Knight. He does have the TP Scroll. He does have Talisman of Evasion, but is that going to be enough? I don't know. Farseer being brought down to about 200 health himself. Wind Riders are going to get caught up by the Altar Waves from Crypt Fiends, and that is going to be that. So most of the Wind Riders have been taken out, but yeah, the DK also suffered quite a few losses himself. Is going to hit that level 6 as soon as this Great Wall destroyed, I'm pretty sure. Okay, I guess not. I could have sworn enemy buildings gave experience. I guess either it does not give experience or it just did not give enough. But yeah, wow, that Bat Rider run was pretty good. That was pretty epic, but yeah, just yet again another switcheroo here into Crypt Fiend Banshees. I'm pretty sure WhO is not actually going to stray away from his Wind Riders at all. Sure, he does have a couple of Bat Riders for now, but that is just in case Gargoyles make a return. But either way, both sides are pretty even in supply. Not exactly sure who's in the better position, but Nova Coil will be able to take down the Farseer once again. And is that enough to turn the tables here? I'm not entirely sure. The Shadowhunter is up. He does have a couple of healing waves in him, but yeah, I'm not sure if that's going to be sufficient or not. Still have plenty of Wind Riders to deal with for EnTe, unfortunately, so yeah, currently only the Dark Ranger and the Lich for EnTe, but it seems like WhO just decides to GG out instead. I didn't actually glance at the final difference in terms of population, but yeah, that was interesting. Where is the score screen? Is the score screen? There it is, score screen. Yeah, very action-packed throughout the entire game, to be honest. Sure, we had a couple of farming minutes at like early-ish to mid-game, but yeah, non-stop action, back and forth and tech switches and whatnot. Obviously, WhO was a little bit more resilient in sticking to Wind Riders, which, yes, the Bat Rider transition was nice, but yeah, once Crypt Fiends made their return, just not enough Wind Riders to deal with that. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thanks for the recommendation. I will see you guys again very soon. Bye bye.